In the vast, untamed wilderness, where the sun casts long shadows over the rolling plains, a bison roams, its massive frame a testament to the raw power of nature. But this is no ordinary bison. It bears a gruesome wound, a gaping hole in its side, a horrific reminder of a wasp nest that has taken root in its flesh. The sight is shocking, a visceral encounter with the darker side of life in the wild. As the camera zooms in, the viewer is drawn into a world where survival is not just a matter of strength, but also of endurance against the relentless forces of nature. The bison, a symbol of resilience, now stands as a canvas for the brutal realities of infestation, a living testament to the harshness of existence. The wasps, those small yet formidable creatures, have found a way to invade the bison's body, laying their eggs within the soft tissue. As the larvae hatch, they feast on the bison's flesh, creating a grotesque symbiosis that is both fascinating and repulsive. The wound, once a mere puncture, has transformed into a festering mass, teeming with life that thrives at the expense of its host. The bison, oblivious to the horror unfolding within, continues to graze, its massive head lowered to the ground, unaware of the tiny predators that have turned it into a living nursery. This dark dance of life and death plays out in the shadows, a reminder of the fragility of existence in the animal kingdom. As we delve deeper into this unsettling scenario, we must confront the ethical implications of such infestations. Nature, in its relentless pursuit of balance, often blurs the lines between predator and prey, host and parasite. The wasps, driven by instinct, fulfill their role in the ecosystem, yet their actions amid the frozen wastelands of the Arctic, where survival is a brutal and uncompromising affair, a grotesque yet fascinating spectacle unfolds. A polar bear, majestic and formidable, carries on its massive, white-furred frame a living horror. A beehive erupted into its flesh like some nightmarish scar. This is no ordinary injury. It is a pulsating, buzzing horror show, a rendezvous of two worlds that should never intertwine, a biological abomination, a bee infestation embedded deep into the bear's hide. The sight alone is enough to elicit a primal revulsion. One's gaze fixes on the grotesque mesh of crimson, yellow, and black, the hive's waxy texture smeared with arterial fluids and puckered skin. It's as if nature has made a cruel joke, where the king of the Arctic is now the unwilling host of tiny, venomous invaders. The bee colony, normally an emblem of summer's sweetness, thrives within this unnatural niche, their waxy chambers squeezing into the soft tissue beneath the bear's fur. The hive seems to colonize through the bear's torn skin, exploiting its heat and blood as a strangely effective incubator. Each cell bristles with immature larvae and hornets amid a swarm of protective workers. The bees, in their relentless industry, continue their ruthless expansion, secreting honey that mingles unappetizingly with the bear's pus and blood, creating a grimly biological cocktail. This is not an alliance born of harmony. It is a symbiotic nightmare, a parasitic occupancy that highlights a dark chapter of survival. The bear attempts to endure the incessant stings, in the dense shadows of the jungle, where the raw brutality of life is never far from the surface. An unsettling sight clashes with the majesty of the wilderness. A tiger, once a symbol of fearsome strength and unyielding power, now bears a grotesque hive of bees grafted onto its body. This horrific deformation is not merely a wound, but a living colony, buzzing relentlessly with venomous invaders. The spectacle is as sickening as it is fascinating, a dark testament to the ruthless and strange ways nature sometimes unfolds. Imagine a beast, the apex predator of its environment, crippled not by another beast, but by tiny winged tyrants, bees that have commandeered its flesh as their fortress, their buzzing empire transmitting an eerie soundtrack of pain and decay. The hive itself is a ghastly mound, irregular and swollen, oozing with a mixture of pus and wax, fringed by the frantic wings of bees moving in a manic frenzy. These bees, attracted by the minerals and secretions leaking from the tiger's torn skin, have inexplicably colonized its wound. This infestation disrupts the tiger's muscle, fat, and the delicate layers of skin, turning what should be healing into a festering nursery for thousands of stinging assailants. To the naked eye, in the heart of the savannah, a chilling tale unfolds, a haunting intersection of beauty and brutality that serves as a stark reminder of nature's unyielding grip. Our protagonist, a magnificent leopard, known for its elusive grace and predatory prowess, now limps through the underbrush, a macabre shadow of its former self. Upon close inspection, one can hardly look away from the grotesque sight. A grotesque wound, inflicted by a beehive bursting with fury, mars its flank. Here lies the chilling reality: a creature once the embodiment of strength, reduced to a visage of suffering as bees. Those tiny yet formidable creatures swarm relentlessly, leaving their painful mark. Such a juxtaposition of nature's work, raw, unfiltered, and cruel, compels us to peer deeper into this unsettling encounter. The wound, a gaping hole, oozes with blood and pus as if the leopard were canvas splattered with the two-tone artistry of life and death. Bees, with their intricate societal structures, swarm around this injured beast, their enemy, drawn to the scent of blood and the heat of flesh. It raises a visceral question about survival, not just of the leopard, but of the very fabric of life itself. The bee infestation, catastrophic in nature, claims its territory in an almost sinister fashion. Each bee, fueled by instinct, burrows into this reluctant host, marking it with thousands of painful stings that serve a dual purpose: a feast for the colony and a declaration of war against a once mighty predator. As the story unravels, we become witnesses to the circle of life spiraling into darkness. Bees are known for their critical role in ecosystems, pollinating plants and sustaining the rhythm of life. Yet, this incident reveals how easily the delicate balance can tilt into chaos. The leopard's once pristine fur, now a tapestry of agony, narrates a story not just of predation, but of desperation, betrayal, and the ironic pitfalls of survival. This leopard's plight is a reminder that even the most adept hunters can fall victim to nature's wrath. The science behind the peculiar alliance of bees and the leopard is both fascinating and alarming. Honeybees, sensing vulnerability, react not just with their sting, but with a coordinated swarm behavior that reflects their remarkable communication skills. The hive operates as a singular organism, and its defense mechanisms activate at the first hint of disturbance. The leopard, unaware of the looming threat until it was too late, now finds itself outmatched, grappling with the relentless onslaught of honeybees defending their home. In its struggle, we are reminded of the harsh reality: even the greatest predators can become prey in the intricate web of life. Yet, amidst the grotesque tableau, a morbid humor seeps in. Perhaps the leopard should have taken a page from the bee's book of cooperation. After all, while it relies solely on its solitary skills, a united front might have been the difference between life and this painful display. One can't help but chuckle at the absurdity. Here is a creature capable of taking down wildebeests, now grappling ineffectively with a swarm of tiny insects. It evokes a twisted sort of empathy, the kind that makes us squirm yet simultaneously chuckle at the absurdity of nature's slapstick comedy. As we dissect the implications of this event, we are left with a haunting moral lesson about humanity's own relationship with nature. In our quest for dominance, have we become too much like the lone leopard, operating in isolation while disregarding the interconnectedness of life? The bees, though seemingly minor actors on this grand stage, offer a potent reminder of how cooperation and community can yield power, health, and resilience. In contrast, the leopard, a symbol of independence and strength, symbolizes the dark side of solitary power, vulnerability in a world that does not forgive weakness. In the end, this leopard's tragic tale weaves an intricate tapestry of life that serves as a mirror to our existence. It forces us to confront the chilling reality of our own place within the natural world, reminding us that to thrive, one must recognize the oft-ignored bonds that weave us all together. The grace of nature can turn horrific in an instant, and as we reflect on this savage encounter, let us remember even the mightiest beast can succumb to the smallest adversary. Life, in its unpredictable chaos, continues to unfold, reminding us that while we may often seek to dominate, we are but players in a complex and often ironic game of survival. Beneath the sweltering sun of an untouched wilderness, something lurks, a spectacle as gruesome as it is mesmerizing. Picture this: a majestic white lion, its fur gleaming like freshly fallen snow, now marred by a grotesque hive pulsating with life. The wound is not merely a gash, but a horrific hive, swollen and crawling with thousands of bees, their incessant hum a sinister chorus against the backdrop of the silent savanna. This isn't just a battle scar. It is a macabre tableau of nature's darker side, where beauty and decay dance in a savage embrace. The lion, king of beasts, stands enslaved by an infestation that turns the splendor of its coat into a disturbing habitat for these tiny invaders. What you are witnessing is a rare, and deeply unsettling phenomenon, a bee infestation on a white lion, an occurrence that twists the natural order into an uncanny nightmare. These bees have constructed their hive directly on the lion's exposed flesh, a sick canvas of wax and venom, feeding on secretions and exploiting the lion's misery. Each bee is a tiny tormentor, their stings adding fresh agony to an already festering wound. Their collective buzzing is a ceaseless drone of pain, a biological siege against a creature whose domain they have invaded. It is a stark reminder of nature's indifference, a brutal testament to survival where even the mightiest can succumb to the tiniest foes. Bees, in this dark context, are not merely pollinators or symbols of industrious harmony. Here, they take on the role of relentless parasites, driven by their instinct to thrive at any cost. The hive is a sticky fortress, its waxy walls sticky and warm, nestled like a tumor that refuses to die. Festering in the lion's fur and flesh, you see the swollen tissue, discolored and oozing with pus, mixed with honey that the bees produce, creating a sickening sweet stench hanging in the air. It is a living, breathing colony of pain, each bee a soldier contributing to the lion's slow, torturous decay. The white lion, in the shadowed outskirts of a forgotten forest, where the sun hesitates to pierce the thick canopy, an unsettling spectacle unfolds. Here, among the tangled undergrowth and whispering leaves, a dog, once a lively spirit of the wild, lies grievously marked by nature's darker hand. What you see might wrench your heart and turn your stomach, a labyrinth of raw serpentine wounds etched into its once sleek fur, a grotesque tableau of survival and suffering intertwined. These are not mere scratches or bruises. They are the sinister fingerprints of a relentless snake infestation, a living nightmare that has taken hold of this hapless creature, transforming it into a living canvas of decay and living terror. The snake infestation on this dog represents an extraordinary, if macabre, biological phenomenon. It begins when a cluster of venomous or parasitic snakes find refuge amid the folds of its skin, feeding off its flesh, blood, and the detritus of infection that festers within. Each bite serves as a cruel invitation for the next to join the morbid feast, their slender bodies slipping under the skin like threads in a perverse tapestry. With every movement, the dog's flesh undulates unnaturally, as if inhabited by an insidious parasite rather than living muscle. The wounds exude a viscous mixture of pus and blood, a toxic stew resulting from bacterial colonies thriving alongside the serpents. The dog's once warm and inviting eyes now mirror a dull haze, shadowed by pain and exhaustion. Closer examination reveals a host of serpentine invaders, ranging from tiny, venomous vipers, specializing in injecting toxins that prevent blood clotting, to larger constrictors whose muscular coils instead crush and suffocate. Their presence perpetuates a vicious cycle. The venom liquefies tissue,